Hello, good evening, everyone. A great evening to you. Warm welcome to Prime Business. Coming up, Ghana's economy grew by 4.7% in the first quarter of 2024. Now, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, this indicates a 1.6% increase compared to the same period in 2023. Here's government statistician Professor Samuel Kobnenim.
First quarter of 2024, from a GDP oil perspective, the economy in current terms was 266.7 billion Ghana cedis, and from a non-oil perspective, the economy worth was 256 billion Ghana cedis, indicating about a 10 billion Ghana cedis between oil and a non-oil perspective. Between current prices and constant prices, after adjusting for the effect of price changes, the worth of the economy in the first quarter of 2024 was 51 billion Ghana cedis, and from a non-oil perspective, the worth of the economy was 48.4 billion Ghana cedis, indicating about 2.5 billion Ghana cedis, constant terms between oil and non-oil GDP perspective. From a constant perspective, the economy in the first quarter of 2024 grew by 4.7%, and from a non-oil perspective, the economy grew by 4.2% relative to the respective growth rates of 3.1% and 4.4% for the same time period in the first quarter of 2023. This indicates that the worth of the economy has grown by 1.6 percentage points between the first quarter of 2023 relative to the first quarter of 2024. From a basic prices perspective, that is when we've not adjusted for the influence of taxes, subsidies, and transport, the worth of the economy in the first quarter of 2024 was 250.7 billion Ghana cedis from an oil perspective, with the inclusion of net indirect taxes, which was 16 billion Ghana cedis. The worth of the economy from a current prices perspective was 266.7 billion Ghana cedis. The agricultural sector contributes the least to the growth rate in the economy. The services sector contributes the most, with a lead of 45.6%, followed by industry 30.6%, and agriculture 23.8%.
Now, reacting to the data, economist Professor Patrick Esumen said even though industry expanded, a breakdown of the figures showed no real improvement in the manufacturing subsector, which has the tendency to create more jobs and enhance the country's export earnings.
You have to, when you put them side by side, you have to look at, first, of course, the industry sector as a group has expanded and is now it's not the highest growth in the period. Now, but at the same time, you have to understand that the services sector, which had primarily been the biggest, has seen the highest growth in time past, it has declined. So it's a combination of industry beginning to recover a little bit, and the services also declining, the services growth declining a little bit. But yeah, I think we always should even look within the disaggregates. I think within the industry itself, you see that mining and quarrying and construction are the ones that did relatively well. Don't forget that our oil production is counted in the mining and quarrying sector. So if you look at manufacturing, for instance, the growth rate was a paltry 2.2%. So I think we should not always get too fixated on the overall aggregate and not begin. We need to dig, especially since the Statistical Service has been extremely helpful these days, providing us a lot more detail. We need to look into the detail and begin to figure out where things are. But overall, I think when you see industry growing, we should see it as a good thing. But I think it would have been a bigger celebration for me if it was manufacturing that was expanding at double digits rather than mining and quarrying. That doesn't mean that mining and quarrying is not. The other thing you have to understand is that if you look at Ghanaian participation in the economy, the mining and quarrying sector is dominated by foreign multinationals. And in some sense, those have become enclave sectors. So when they are expanding, their connection and their linkages with the other sectors of the economy is low. And the Ghanaian participation in those sectors are also relatively low. So if those sectors are the ones driving the growth, you shouldn't expect that many ordinary Ghanaians will benefit too much from that kind of growth.
Now, the McDan Group, through its shipping and logistics business, has secured government's blessings to review Ghana's prestigious shipping line, the Black Star Line. The move is coming after years of struggle to secure a strategic partner to revive the shipping line, which was once known for transporting major commodities from the country. Executive Chairman of the McDan Group has been speaking to Joy Business about the initiative in Bahamas.
Well, we are bringing in vessel, the first two vessels that we have. We are bringing in. The first one will be around 15,000 metric tons. The second one will be about 12,000 metric tons. So this should be enough to start moving the continent. So very soon.
Chairman, what is the drive behind this Black Star Line takeover for you? You've distinguished yourself in several areas. Some are saying this is a very tricky area that you still want to do it.
But don't forget that I've been in shipping for 33 years. This is nothing new. This is my field, and it's about time we take over our own continent. We cannot live in a continent where the foreigners control the space. Whoever controls the seas control the business. So we can't leave that space. I mean, as patriotic as I am, I can't afford being in the area for 33 years and not trying to take over the space. It's not likely that for 33 years we should leave the space for foreigners to.
Chairman, finally, what do you tell those who are the skeptics who are worried about? Some will say that your fingers might be bent, Black Star Line, the problems, the stigma, the challenges that you can turn things around.
It's okay. I'm a businessman. I'm not worried if I fall, but I think I have been here long enough to know the risks I'm taking.
Now, Senior Commercial Officer at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Kofi Addo, has called on businesses in the cassava, fruit and cosmetic sectors to adopt sustainable solutions and innovation to enhance their access to the international market. He delivered these remarks at the 3rd Cluster International Conference held in Accra.
United Nations Industrial Development Organization, in partnership with the European Union and the Ministry of Trade and Industry, hosted the 3rd Cluster International Conference in Accra to enhance the inclusiveness of small and medium enterprises within industrial clusters. During the event, Senior Commercial Officer Kofi Addo, speaking on behalf of the Minister of Trade, stressed on the critical need to transform local businesses to make them competitive.
Everything that we are doing is to make sure that we transform the MSMEs, especially in the African sub-region. We see the MSME as the backbone. If it is the backbone, then it means we have to treat it with all the things that it requires. Recently, if you see the way products, special niche products from Ghana and other ECOWAS regions, is penetrating into the national and international market, then the confidence is that if we really put our house in order, we will be able to take the world by storm.
The UNIDO representative to Ghana and Liberia, Stavros Papastavru, emphasized the importance of collaboration in advancing industrial clusters to foster sustainable economic development.
Industrial clusters provide a unique ecosystem where businesses can collaborate, share resources, and innovate together. They offer SMEs access to larger markets, new technologies, systems, and vital business networks. This collaborative environment is essential for fostering resilience and competitiveness, particularly in a rapidly changing global market. At UNIDO, we believe in the power of partnerships and collaborative efforts. We are committed to supporting policies and initiatives that strengthen industrial clusters.
Dr. Charles Kwame Saki, Chief Technology Advisor of Wacom Ghana, highlighted the project achievement and integrating them into larger markets.
We believe that when we produce goods, all the goods we see on the various tables that are being displayed, if we do not buy them, it never translates into income for our SMEs. So we believe in a number of activities that we've implemented, going on international fairs, local fairs, regional fairs, to make sure our SMEs connect and sell their product. We have worked creditably in connecting our SMEs to various financial institutions.
Several small and medium enterprises shared their experience on how the project has significantly improved their operations and market access.
So we can boast of getting all the certification for export and then everything.
They've helped me improve on my branding and packaging to the international level. They've also assisted in my products being registered with the FDA.
So far, the packaging has also improved. Now we have product even with people in Hungary. We have some also in Germany and then in the UK.
The conference gathered over 200 participants, including SMEs, supported by the EU-funded West African Competitiveness Programme and delegations from ECOWAS and Austria, aimed at reinforcing connections to the African Continental Free Trade Area.
More business news. The Deputy Chief Executive of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yao Amwating-Ifriye, has called on the Ghana Revenue Authority to be tactical in enforcing tax compliance. Although he admits the Revenue Mobilization Agency is within its mandate to enforce the collection of taxes, a modest approach in the enforcement will be helpful. He spoke at the Customs Controls and Regulations Forum organized by the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Here's a report.
The aim of the Customs Controls and Regulations Forum is to deliberate on issues affecting businesses and the investor community. With a mandate to promote foreign and local investments in the country, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center seeks to leverage this avenue to prioritize investor concerns and inform policy reforms. Speaking to the press on the sidelines of the ceremony, Deputy Chief Executive of the GIPC, Yao Amwating-Ifriye, urged the Ghana Revenue Authority to be tactical in the enforcement of tax compliance.
But because, again, we are contending with a very difficult and complex fiscal environment, revenues have to come in. And if those revenues do not come in, it will be very difficult for government to finance its budget. And if government cannot finance its budget, then it places all of us at jeopardy. So it is a careful balancing act. We call on the private sector to comply with taxes, but we're also calling on GRA to be a bit more modest in terms of how they handle the private sector businesses who are compliant and continue to keep, as it were, this country afloat. It is taxes that support an economy.
He sheds more light on the rationale of the forum.
This is part of a GIPC program that engages on a quarterly basis our various stakeholders on various topics. This morning's edition for us has been long in the planning. It is a very important subject, one which cuts across regulation, the private sector, and the interaction between these very important entities, if you like.
The president of the Ghana Union Traders Association called for the harmonization of standards in the sub-region to reduce the smuggling of substandard goods into the country.
So they are doing their best. But what they should also know is that they are not succeeding because we cannot fight this in isolation. We have our neighboring countries who are also trading with us. I don't know whether we have a harmonized standard. So much as you are doing your best in the country, and this bulk of the goods is coming through, especially the Eastern Corridor, through from Nigeria, Benin, Togo to Ghana. And so what are you doing about this?
The forum witnessed a gathering of representatives from the Ghana Revenue Authority, Ministry of Finance, Food and Drugs Authority, and other relevant agencies.
Standard Chartered Bank Ghana has reiterated its commitment to collaborate with clients, key stakeholders, and policymakers to address issues of unemployment in Ghana. Chief Executive Officer Mansa Neti said the bank aims to build partnerships between the private and public sectors to unlock the opportunities presented by various sectors of the economy. She was speaking at the launch of the RISE initiative by the bank to support entrepreneurs.
Ready for inclusive, sustainable employment and entrepreneurship will support young people with and without disabilities to have strengthened opportunities and outcomes for decent employment through increased employability skills and organizational strengthening and job creation amongst micro businesses led by young people.
Milestone of our impact journey as a bank. And I'm sure a lot of you have been reading in the press, and if you've been following us, we've been doing a lot for our community because we believe that as a bank, we should be part and parcel of the society and support it as much as we can. We live in a world where social and environmental challenges are increasing daily, impacting economic and social lives in decades to come. This has led us to a growing awareness for businesses to step up and rise to these challenges. And as a bank, we believe that we can fulfill our purpose.
Senior Programs Manager at Site Savers, David Ajiman, indicated that his outfit will continue to mentor these young entrepreneurs.
We will continue with mentorship. The mentorship will add additional skills, so that they'll have the practical experience about how, to behave or how to, they will understand the job environment in practical sense as part of the mentorship. The mentorship will be followed by internship, paid internship, and again, this will continue to build their skills further. It is our hope that through this process, the job seekers will be well prepared for the job market.
More within the banking space, Chairman of the Cow Bank Board, Joe Mensah, has underscored the need to support women in navigating the complexities of the modern financial landscape. According to him, the rapid technological advancements and evolving customer expectations need proactive measures to meet customer demands. He was speaking at the launch of the Cow Women's Network. Here's a report. The Cow Women's Network is a flagship program by Cow Bank that will provide avenues for mentorship, professional development, and leadership opportunities for women. The program is also aimed at promoting gender equality both with clients and within the bank's business operations in alignment with international best practices. In an interview with Joy Business, Board Chairman of Cow Bank, Joe Mensah, said there is the need to support women to navigate the modern financial landscape.
We realize, as per the PwC reports and so on, that majority of the women in banking are at the lower levels, and we think that there should be a deliberate intervention to push them to be able to be competitive, improve their competence, to be able to move ahead. That is why we put this network together, and they know themselves. We encourage the women, and the men should also be aware that even in other places you have affirmative action and so on. So it's nothing new. We need a deliberate intervention to encourage them so that our women will have a proper work-life balance at home and at the workplace and so on. If they have special needs, we need to attend to them.
Board sponsor for the Cow Women's Network, Dr. Cynthia Forson, called for deliberate policies to create a conducive working environment for women to be able to excel in their roles.
So if you look at the history of work, men were in formal work first and women came and joined. So the way work was created around men's needs. So for example, I always ask the question, who sets up an environment in which work finishes at 5, but school finishes at 3? Who's supposed to be picking up these children from school? Clearly, it was designed around men at work, women at home. So the environment itself has to be conducive. We need effective policies and programs to help women deal with the environment, the masculine environment they're in. And also we need a different perception of women at work and take away the stereotyping about women as emotional, incompetent. If they have children, they'll go home, etc., etc., etc. So I think those are the three main issues that we have.
The CAL Women's Network also aims to build the capacity of women and prepare them for leadership and managerial role to contribute to the expansion and growth of the business. You're still watching Prime Business. As part of activities to mark its 25th anniversary, the Institute of Directors Ghana has donated assorted items to the Jowulu Special School. Now, speaking at a short ceremony to hand over the items and also spend time with the students, Vice President of the Institute, Mary Asari-Yeboah, explained that the Institute is committed to supporting less privileged institutions. Here's more.
With a vision to become the leading reference point for directorship, leadership and governance, the Institute of Directors Ghana is poised to champion best practices in corporate governance. As part of its Silver Jubilee celebrations, the Institute donated assorted items to Jowulu Special School. This year's donation marks the third time the Institute has spent time with students of the Jowulu Special School and provided the school with items to support its daily operations. Mary Asari-Yeboah is the Vice President of the Institute.
Indeed, we champion good corporate governance, but we also do things like looking at citizens within the country and give the help and support that is necessary. You would agree with me that the Jowulu Special School for Intellectually Challenged Children is really a good cause to support. We are here to make sure that we impact the lives of people who don't really have everything it takes to be the very best they can be. So with this kind of support, we do hope to share our love and our concern for them.
The chairman of the Silver Jubilee Planning Committee and council member of the Institute discussed activities to mark the 25th anniversary.
25 years of championing good corporate governance in this country. As you may be aware, the spectrum of corporate governance has now expanded into environmental, social, and governance. And so our institute is poised to be able to guide various institutions, various boards in the area of ESG, that is environmental, social, and governance.
He reiterated the Institute's mandate to promote excellent corporate governance in institutions.
IOD Ghana organizes lectures. We also have courses that we run for board members of various institutions. We have had companies actually invite the resource persons of IOD to come and specifically tailor training needs to their board members. IOD has been very active, very, very active, moving to these institutions and running training programs for them.
The headmaster expressed gratitude for the donation.
This school is a government institution, and government alone can't meet the needs of these kids. So when I see things like this, it gladdens my heart, and it helps us take very good care of this case. And I also want to seize the opportunity to invite other organizations, churches, individuals who have this kids at heart to also support us.
The donated items included bags of rice, cartons of milk, crates of eggs, beverages, toiletries, and other essentials. Thanks so much for watching Prime Business with me, Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I leave you with international business stories.